backers has access. They can admit everybody as people are jumping on, so we don't have to go back.
Yep, we got that all set up already, so we're ready to rock and roll.
Perfect.
Well, Rich, why don't you give us an intro?
Sure. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. We got the recording going. Good. Excellent. So my name is Rich, Rector, MAPS recruiting leadership coach, along with JessicaFox, Wimmer, and we are excited to bring to you some recruiting with the playbooks topic. And we were going to be doing this on a monthly basis as we have these great playbooks now, and as KWRI keeps coming out with these great tools, really to help you with putting this stuff into practical action. Real quick, we encourage you can see my background there, join our community recruiting collective, myrecruitingcollective.com. Join that community because you're going to be getting a ton of assets. It's all about three things: content, intel, and access. So content in this community, we're going to be providing you with monthly marketing, social media posts, and smart plans. Anybody need that? Anybody need recruiting, marketing, social posts, smart plans? Yeah, like everybody, right? Which is why we've created this community. So content on a monthly basis, and then intel. We're going to be sharing with you best practices, what's working in the field, recruiting hacks. Our whole video library that both of us have is there with our role plays and the trainings that we've done. And then access. Every month, we're going to be doing Facebook Live for our community members, where we're going to be workshopping, your challenges, your pipeline, any objections that you have, anything that you need help with. We're going to be doing a monthly live Facebook event around that. So it's about, again, content, intel, and access. Those three things. If that's something that you're interested in terms of recruiting, join that community. And there's the site right there.
Yeah, we made this for you guys to give you an unfair advantage, because Rich and I can tell you this is the most fun recruiting market that you're heading into, with the greatest opportunity to attract super talent and to move big market share. And we've both been through it a couple times, so we know how much fun you guys are going to have. So without further ado, we want to jump into this real play role play for you. And Rich and I really haven't spent much time getting ready for this, and yet that's the reality of being a team leader. And we want to just remind you that you have so many tools at your hands to help agents right now. So we're just going to give you a real basic scenario and share with you maybe a conversation starter to even get this conversation going. And then real quickly, we're going to role play that first conversation. So for this scenario, just for all intents and purposes, for us to be able to quickly role play for you, I'm just going to pretend Rich is an agent doing about 10 deals a year, probably not real satisfied with what he's doing. And if I wanted to start this conversation, and Rich and I are going to kind of just banter with you a few times back and forth what we might do, my call to him or text to him or offer to him or mofer to him would be to help him get more referrals in his business. So I might call that, text it, whatever, and say, would you be open to a 15-minute conversation around how you could double your referrals in the year ahead? Rich, if you were to start a conversation, what would that sound like with you?
So if I was calling, up my database to set an appointment, to go through the database, to go through this particular playbook, I could call up and use the 201, opportunity, right? Where I could call up and just say, hey, have you heard about our 201 Club program? Did you know that agents that have 201 plus people in their database are making over $119,500? I'd love to share that with you. Are you interested in making more money this year with your database? Right? So I could use something as simple as that to get an appointment.
So getting this conversation started could also be like in public or at an open house that you pop by. You can have this conversation in so many different ways that it's there is no end to it. So we're going to assume that you can get this conversation started. And now we're going to get into a role play where we actually use some of the assets that Keller Williams has put together for us to really have a powerful conversation. So for this scenario, there's a couple things that you're going to need and want to have ready that my cyberbacker Sheila will put in the chat as we go along and move along, so that you guys can just pay attention now and maybe follow this later. But basically, this one asset that you have, this playbook, really encapsulates the lead generation model of the MREA, which Rich and I have been recruiting from for eternity. We didn't need to practice this because we've been using this our whole career. The concept of, if you join Keller Williams, there's models and systems for you to follow that'll help you make more money in real estate, bottom line, and that the MREA is that initial proof or model that they would follow. This book, this playbook, helps you learn how to use this conversation, both internally with your own agents to get them to plug into KW, utilize command, understand the models that they have in front of them that are their advantages, as well as externally. So this playbook is really going to help you guys have the confidence to have this conversation that I would guess, Rich, you and I probably have had 10,000 times, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Now, would you add anything to it that I haven't brought up?
No, I think that it's about creating curiosity to get them to want to talk with you. And let's face it, the majority of real estate agents in our entire industry get most of their income from their database, yet most of the agents don't work their database properly. And most people don't have fear around their database, right? If we called up and said, hey, let me show you how to prospect more, and I've been to that seminar, not interested because I'm resistant to prospecting. But yet, if we called up and said, hey, I want to share with you some hacks, some tips, some secrets that are really working on how to maximize your database, I'm open to that because I have a database. Even if I don't have a CRM, I mean, I have that, I have people that I know. So that approach is going to be a great approach to get appointments with, especially right now in this changing market. And the fact that we have playbooks, we have the 201 Club data, all that stuff that Jessica is going to go into in this role play.
Yeah, and I want to just start before we dive in. Just remember, this is not about you have to do it this way. This is a conversation, you guys. And yet this little book is your cheat sheet. And it's your credibility factor. So today, this is not going to go perfect. We're going to have some fun with it. And I hope you find how you can use this tool to really superhero your powers and also get confidence in having these conversations because you have an MBA in real estate when you learn to use it. So without further ado, Rich, let's get started.
Sure.
So again, just to set the table, Rich is an agent doing about 10 transactions a year. And he said yes. He said yes in whatever way to learning more about how to get more business. Okay, without further ado, Rich, thank you for your time. Your time is super valuable to me, and I know we don't have much of it. So I want to jump right into it if you're okay with that.
Sure.
So let me ask you this. How familiar are you with the 36 touch concept?
Not familiar at all. Don't really even know anything about it.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, let me just give you a quick history lesson. Now, way back in the 80s, Gary Keller started Keller Williams, and he started having conversation with the best agents out there, the top agents, and collected a lot of intel over the years of how they did it. How did they make $1 million in real estate? And in 2002, he published kind of the results of those hundreds and hundreds of conversations and developed 4 models. The second model in this book, the first thing we teach new agents is the lead generation model. And if you actually pull back and look at the MREA book, it starts on page 133 and goes through like page 150th. And it really just kind of shares with you how to create a predictable business where you can get a 12-2 return out of your database. And the model that you had to use in order to achieve that was called the 36 touch, okay, or 33 touch. Now, this is back in 2002. if we go to today, that model is a little bit adjusted just because of technology and things. So I want to share with you an article that I would encourage you to dive into later. I'll overview it now, but this is a really great article where they kind of gone deeper into this model to prove today's kind of metrics. So today, because we have more content, more data, you would think these numbers would be skewed quite a bit, and they haven't. Right now, they say that the average agent has about a 6.37% return in their database. So you can kind of bank on having about 6 opportunities for every 100 people you know every year because of life. People move because of job changes, lifestyle changes, marriage, death, divorce, any of those things are lifestyle factors that make that opportunity happen. So right now, if we were to look at your business, one of the things I'd love to do is actually give you what is called the database assessment. Now, this is a tool that we have for our agents to help them get that true return out of their database that they desire. Okay, does that make sense?
Okay. Sure.
Any questions so far?
No, so I don't know, I probably have close to 500 people
Wow.
in my database.
Okay.
But I'm probably not effectively, working it. So 6%, I mean, what would that, I guess?
Well, let's stop right there. Let's check it out. So this is an assessment. Now, this whole assessment has a couple different parts to it. And today we're only going to tackle a section of it. But one part of it is for us to identify what the value of your database is and kind of what kind of conversion you're getting. So if we jump into that, because your numbers there, you had said, how many people about in your database? 500, you said?
Roughly around 500, yeah.
Okay, so what we would do on this page too is put in 500. And then how many closings did you have this last year?
10.
10. Well, congratulations. So if we do simple math, 500 people, 10 closings, that would give you a 2% conversion. So you're currently at a 2% conversion.
Okay.
So you have opportunity, don't you?
Sounds like it, yes.
Now, if we look at what is expected, we can say you should expect a 6%. However, if we're skeptical, since you have to build these relationships and kind of reconnect, we could run your numbers at like 4%. And by doing that simple math, take your closings from 10 to 20 without really any effort.
Wow. We'll double my business.
Because truth is, the capacity of your current business is actually 30 closings, isn't it? 6%.
Yeah, I guess that's what that would be. Yeah.
So today at closing 10 units, going to 30 units, adding 20 additional units, how much money are we talking about?
Gosh, I would say the average commission's around 10,000. So, it would be like 300,000 if I could do 30 deals. So about a $200,000 increase.
So how does that make you feel? Just knowing you got that there.
Well, first of all, it seems almost too good to be true. But yeah, that obviously would be a game changer. Maybe it would change my whole world.
So, what concerns me is this concept of lead generation in your database. What concerns me is this is the first thing we teach someone right out of real estate school. And I know you've been in the business a few years, haven't you?
Yes, about 5.
So for 5 years, we've been missing out on a lot of opportunity for you and your business. Haven't you?
If you're talking $200,000 in additional income, yeah, 5 years, that's a lot of money. That's like $1 million.
So I know this is kind of bold to ask, but I'm curious because I'm sure you're a very loyal guy and you probably have a great relationship with your current office and things. But like, if I could help you double or even triple your business with putting some fundamentals in place, would it be something worth diving into a little further?
Sure.
Okay. Because here's the truth. This book has been around for a while. I think 2002, and Gary's been sharing this information since, he started leading this company. So it's not like top secret. And yet what I'd love to do is take you one step further and show you how we're implementing this with our agents so that they're getting the results of a 6% or better return.
Okay.
Now, just to kind of pivot on you and kind of show you what we're up to behind kind of at Keller Williams International, we actually have a club called the 201 Plus Club. And it's kind of interesting. It's based off of our program. So although we've all known that this model exists, and if we were to just be disciplined and follow the model, we could have this great win, many of us lack the self-discipline to do this. So Gary Keller has developed a program, a platform where we run our business. It's called Command. And it has allowed us to set it and forget it, in a way, automate 90% of that 36 touch. And what's really cool is for those of us that went all in on it initially, we can kind of see the results, the proof of the model. And what's really neat is for those agents that have made the commitment to dive in and actually plug in their database to Command, for those that have 201, we know that we can hit that 119,000 gross commission income mark, that 100,000 mark, that we all strive for or better. So the next step would be for you and I to do a one-on-one and deep dive into this so you could actually touch it, feel it, see it, ask questions around it. And yet, let me ask you this, Rich. If I was able to show you how we would do that and how we'd help plug you in and, the first 30 days or so that you were with us and give you a sense of understanding of how it all works, is there any reason why you wouldn't strongly consider an offer from us to partner with us?
Oh, I'm really happy where I'm at with my broker, but I mean, this is pretty compelling. So, yeah, if you can show me how the system works and I really feel like it would be a game changer, then it would be something I have to consider.
Wonderful. And that's all I'd ask is an open mind, because at the end of the day, I'd love to be your plan B if things aren't where they need to be with your broker. And I think this is a way that we can show you how Keller Williams really makes a difference for their agents. Can we meet tomorrow? Are you free tomorrow morning to meet? Quick.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, I can do that.
Okay. Off role play. So Rich, what would you have added to that? How could you have closed differently?
Sure.
Let's play around with this a little for everyone.
Yeah. So with the 201 Club graph that you had there, maybe you pull that back up. Mm-hmm. One thing that you could say, this is validity, right? Everybody, this is evidence. So, we say 6%, that's what the MREA book, that's the 36 touch now, the what you're getting from your database. And here's the evidence, right? So our company was able to audit 36,000 agents in our company through our technology system that are running the play that we talked about to get you a 6% return, to get, through this 36 touch model through our technology platform. And this is what they found. And you can see the different numbers, 201, you're at 119 and so forth with the size of your database, which again mirrors the 6% return. So now we have an evidence with 36,000 agents, much less the evidence from the book. So really, if you're getting a 2% return, there's a 4% opportunity, which is $200,000. That's a pretty compelling message. Most agents get a 1% to 2% return if you look at the industry average. So we've got a huge opportunity right there with the number one way that they get business already, which is friends and family referrals and their repeat business, their database. And we can show them where the gap is. So it's the number one way that they get business. They're going to always get business that way. It's the people they like to work with. And now there's an opportunity to bridge that gap. So it creates a compelling message and curiosity of why they want to talk with you, why they want to really look at what this system is, whether I want to move or not. That makes sense to me. 4% gap is a big number. And then you can get into things like, feeding the database, growing the database. Let's move from 200 people to 300 and 400 and 500. And then what does that do when you take 6% of those numbers? It's six extra deals per 100 people. You know, and then in the MREA book, it shows you all those people and those categories. You know, we have an organized approach to helping people maximize their database, not just on this 36 text, but also how to grow it. So, you know, you would some of those things too, possibly.
Well, and the truth is when you get with them for the demo, the actual diving into it, you can continue on with the playbook, and it gives a lot of ideas that are also amplified by the social media playbook, the internet lead gen book, the ISA book, the different books that Keller Williams have provided you for the different ways they may also plus a lead gen other than just their database. So the next step would be to really show Rich this and then be prepared to give him an offer for him to make a move to Keller Williams. Some of the closes that you can say that are sample closes or trial closes in this process is, would you be open to continuing this conversation, or would you be open to taking a deeper dive in how we're actually facilitating this with our agents? Or would you be open to taking a sneak peek into how we actually are giving this return to our agents? People are curious, and they'll say yes. And if they believe you, they'll move. So what's cool about this book is it's evidential proof, just like that slide with the data is evidential proof that the model works. It's not you to have to convince them, it's you to connect them to proof. Now, it's always great if you have an agent or two that you can also reference during this. Someone in my Clearwater office is Jake Yancarelli. He came into a market where he knew no one, and in 1 year became one of the top agents by developing a database. So I always have a success story as well. I know Rich is always great about bringing a true story in of someone local that you can personify this with. But right now, you guys, you've got a little magic moment where you can take this little book tied to the need for business and referrals, and you can actually empower your own agents and all the agents out in the MLS to dive in, get serious about their database finally, as they should have for a while now, and really make hay when the sun is shining. Because we don't talk people into needing to buy or sell, but we communicate what we do professionally, and it results in referrals. Bottom line. That's
And Jeremy, you had a question or in the chat, a comment in the chat. Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to do this. The appointments setting conversation that I posted in there, 201, you get the physical appointment. The physical appointment, you would want to go through the needs analysis, right? And this would be more of the presentation piece of the needs, and after you do the needs analysis, what we call the 10-step presentation. You could also, which is what Jessica demonstrated, you could do a more of a virtual type of appointment, or this could be in the initial appointment setter conversation. So if I called up and said, hey, have you heard about our 201 database program? Agents with 201 plus people in their database are averaging $119,500. You have a few minutes, and I can share some of those thoughts with you. Yeah, I got a few minutes now. We could go into what Jessica did. Wows me enough that now I'm coming in with a needs analysis appointment. So there's a lot of ways that you could do this. For sake of time, right? We just wanted to kind of show you how you can get an appointment with the playbook and what the meat of the conversation around the playbook is. But if you're following that model, remember, and I'm going to have my cyberbacker post it in the chat. There's a baseball analogy, which is what we use, and it's really experienced agent recruiting is about getting to first base by getting an appointment, creating curiosity, which is what we just did with the appointment setting, conversation on the 201 club. Then at first base, going to second is the needs analysis, where you really have to ask those questions. So then on second base is the 10-step presentation, where you could talk about database as one thing, right? And the value propositions. Then you go from second to third, which is where you then close and handle objections and start working through the transition. And then sliding in home is where you orientate them in, right? You leverage the hire for additional appointments, and then you start the process all over again. So this was just, again, a snapshot on how you can use these awesome playbooks that KWRI has created to create curiosity, to get them in. And you could even say, as a special thank you for meeting with me today at 3 o'clock, I'm going to give you a copy of the playbook, right? So it makes them keep the appointment, because we all know the show up rate is a challenge. But when you can give them something they want, and I have buyer's remorse, I don't want to go meet with Jessica. I'm happy where I'm at. I don't want to move, but yet I really want that playbook. I'm more apt to show up to that appointment.
And you can print some of these out and bring these along with you and use them as discussion pieces when you're out in the field as well. For those of you that attend events or going to MLS events, stopping by open houses, if I'm stopping at an open house, I might say, hey, Rich, or great open house, how's your open house going? And chit chat a little bit and say, hey, I was actually tracking down one of my own agents, and I was going to give them this new assessment we're doing. I'd be happy to spend 10 minutes and just kind of run through it with you as well, if you're interested in getting more referrals in your businesses here. And that could be like an actual appointment that you could start right live, right at an open house. So there's so many ways that you can use this. And yet when you can teach this and get your agents that you're bringing on to implement this, you really are a ninja recruiter, because you have the evidential proof that you can make changes to the people around you. And that's what your people that you have and that are looking at joining you are looking for. They need to know that if they follow you as their leader, that you're going to help them get more business. And this is a real basic model for you to follow. This is the first one I mastered as a newbie team leader. I looked like I was 12 when I first got started. I really did. And yet I just mastered the lead generation model. Frankly, it was because my mom's business was such a hot mess. I helped her do that. And that was the one thing I implemented first with my own parents' family business. So, I really felt comfortable talking about it. And this is a foundation to everyone you speak with, but ultimately the gap. And yet you can give this to someone and they can't implement it where they're at, because again, they probably won't have the self-discipline to do that. Command is actually the secret sauce here. We've had the model for a long time, haven't we, Rich? I mean, and the secret sauce of implementation and showing the proof is being able to show them how they do it in command.
For sure. And I want to just piggyback. I know we're getting tight on time. A couple things you said, open houses. So one of the things that part of our recruiting community, we provide a special gift every month. And this month's special gift is the open house playbook with all of your information that our cyberbackers personalize it for you for free.
I'll show them mine. This one's mine.
So if you stop by an open house to
appointment,
you could actually give them the playbook with your contact information on it as well. So that's great. That's one of the gifts that we provide every month with the community. So
we really want to give you every unfair advantage possible, because you don't want to give all these playbooks away. You don't want to give everything away, and yet you want to use them as the bait, the clickbait, the appointment setter that they are. And so this is an example of what we do for our members. Next month, I can't wait to share what we're doing, because I think I've spent 40 hours, Rich, with you putting it together. And yet our goal is really, as with the recruiting collective, is just to give you every unfair advantage possible. So, think about how you might use today's information, not only to get your confidence up, but to get your own agents engaged in the model that's going to make the most difference for their business in the year ahead. And in practicing those conversations and gaining your confidence, you're going to feel more comfortable recruiting with that same message. And if I was to give you any challenge, it would be have 5 of these conversations internally this week, and then go start doing externally, and you'll feel really good about the team leader that you are.
Yep. And before we hang up here, in the chat is the baseball analogy we talked about. Is this playbook, if you don't even know what we're talking about, where are the playbooks? Can we put this playbook in there? Also, the link to the community, My Recruiting Collective. And there's a question I want to answer real quick from Zoe that says that your GM mentioned that we're starting and launching a new version of the Rockstar recruiting program. Yes, Jessica and I are doing that. That's different than the program from before, where we're going to be going through a lot of this stuff. Plus, we're also going to be doing real play and role play during the program. So it's a combination of what we did with Recruiting Skills Bootcamp last year and the Rockstar Recruiting, and we're both, facilitating the program. That new program is going to start after Mega Camp at the end of August. So you'll get information on that later.
So I
thanks,
hope
Russ.
you guys got something good out of this. We're going to keep doing this for our members of just kind of role playing different things. If you have requests, just go on the Facebook page and make a request. Rich and I are here for you. We want to give you every advantage you guys need in this market. It's a good one. So thank you for your time today, guys.
Thanks for being here, everybody. Bye-bye.
Great.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye, guys. Have a great day. See ya.
You too.